Well, the new X-Men Blue Origins #1 had a bonker reveal for the new origin for Nightcrawler, and we finally really know who his parents are. Let's take a couple minutes to break down the latest from Marvel Comics, where all this comes from, and who the happy couple really were. Now, before we do that, though, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and ring the bell for all the updates. We do daily Marvel and DC videos, and we want to be your place for all the superhero news, but we're going to do it truthfully and transparently, so you are really in the know. Well, if you're a fan of Marvel Comics, and specifically the X-Men, you know they have been making tweaks to Nightcrawler's origin story, well, for decades now. Recently, we got the new X-Men Blue #1, and the hero finally now has a definitive story. But wow, does Marvel throw a twist at us? And I think you're going to be hearing people talk about this one. Now, in that recent X-Men comic, Nightcrawler, who currently is suited up as the Uncanny Spider-Man, finally confronts his mother, Mystique. All the things that have happened to him recently have unlocked some long-suppressed memories, and that's led to some massive changes when it comes to Kirk Wagner's parentage. Now, this issue goes back in time and reminds us that Mystique was once disguised as the wife of Baron Kristen Wagner, later having an affair with the mutant Azrael, and subsequently falling pregnant with his child. Now, in reality, Mystique was sleeping with her lover, Destiny, and after transforming into a man, impregnated her as a fellow mutant. That's right, Mystique is not really Nightcrawler's mother, she's actually his father. Now, with Destiny pregnant, Mystique actually faked the so-called baby bump and pretended to give birth to the boy who would one day become the hero known as Nightcrawler. Now, the comic actually answers the big question why, and this is a spoiler, but we later learn that Destiny's psychic powers meant she saw a future where the demon would lay waste to the entire world. Now, fans are probably wondering how this happened, because Mystique is traditionally a shapeshifter, but what's revealed in the comics is Professor X actually changed her memories at her request, and it turns out instead of being a shapeshifter, she is actually a gene shifter. This means the mutant can rewrite, and I quote, the genomic instructions of every cellular nucleus of our body, all at once, all without conscious thoughts. In other words, she can be either a man or a woman and basically turn into any human being. It is a pretty interesting twist and kind of fits pretty well with given the mythos of the X-Men and the social movements it's supposed to represent. I'm sure it's probably going to get a bit of backlash from some fans, and it's unclear where the story will ultimately go. It seems like this twist could bring Nightcrawler and Mystique closer together, but will he now track down Destiny? Now, the other big takeaway here is this isn't some modern twist on the character. When Chris Claremont created Nightcrawler, this was actually the scrapped idea for his origin story. Ironically, it can be the new status quo with a lot of media. This was the original idea that was scrapped almost 50 years ago, kind of making its way back around. It does show you how progressive X-Men comics have always been, and the creators have seemed to recognize that from day one, despite some of the modern back and forth of politics that we seem to get distracted by in the modern day. The current Uncanny Nightcrawler series has been a ton of fun, and I look forward to seeing where this character goes. I love their evolving Nightcrawler in this modern era, a little bit more than they have in decades, and I look forward to seeing where the story ultimately takes us.